Hey guys, Michelle Kinney here. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking out my video. I'm going to make a quick video today, although it's not going to be super quick. I'm going to talk about being able to use options, selling options to create yourself income. Now this morning somebody said something interesting to me. He said something about like, hey, you've had all these years of experience, and someone else had said something similar to me not long ago. And I think sometimes the average person will kind of think, you have to be super versed or super experienced in being able to use option selling to create income. And I want to dispel that myth right now. So pay attention. Here's the thing, guys. Have I been trading a really long time? Yeah, I have been. However, that doesn't mean that you can't be super successful right out of the gate trading options. And let me explain to you why that is. Here's the thing. There are literally two things that you need to know. Now, does it take a little bit of time to learn how that works? Yeah, because it's kind of like learning a different language, right? Like if I want to learn Spanish and then I want to go to Spain or Puerto Rico or something, am I going to be able to take Duolingo, for, I don't know, like an hour and then be able to do it? No, it's like I got to like practice a few things, and then always it's like this learning practice. But here's the thing that I want to really hit home. I do it, I would say professionally, in a sense that the only way I make money right now, the only way I support myself for a very long time now, has been through selling options. You don't have to start that way. Like, you walk before you run, right? So you can absolutely take, let's say, I would honestly say 10 hours to learn the fundamentals of option trading and literally learn only two strategies: selling a put and selling a covered call. It's not that hard. And you can successfully do that even if you don't have a lot of experience, even if you don't know what stocks are, you never traded in the stock market. You can do that successfully on kind of like an on the side basis. Now, who doesn't want like a side gig to give some extra money? Now, here's another thing. So I had coffee with this guy friend of mine this morning, and he said a couple of things that were interesting that I'm going to talk about in this video. So another thing that he said that was super interesting to me was this, I don't know, like, here's how he said it, Michelle, he was thinking, right? And I'm trying to re-articulate it. He said, that would be kind of cool if I could make just like $1,000 extra per month, and I can do this with that or do that with that. Like, who wouldn't want an extra $1,000 per month? So let's back into that. Would you first of all, let me ask you this. How would you feel if you made an extra $1,000 per month, right? Let's say, and let's break it down even more granularly. If you were to be able to make an extra $250 per week, how would that be able to change your life, right? So I would think about that, okay, an extra $1,000 per month or $250 per week. What could that do for me? That would pay my parking bill. So my parking account is $950 a month. So it's almost $1,000 to park my car in New York City. Not day parking if I go here, go there, just to park in the garage. So I kind of sync these things to what can I do with that money, right? What else can you do with $1,000 more per month or $250 more per week? Here's another thing that I can do. So I live in New York right now, but my kids are in LA. And for example, I just booked a flight to go to LA, and I think it was like $1,200 round trip business, because I like to lay flat. And I like to, this life is short. Man, you get one spin around the world. And why not do it in comfort, right? Like, do you want to be uncomfortable on a 6-hour flight and cramped up in a seat like this? No, I want to be lay flat. I want to feel good, and I want to be comfortable. So my flight was $1,200. So what else can you do with $1,000 more a month? I don't know. I could buy a flight to LA, and I can go to LA once a month for a week or whatever, right? So that's for me. What would you like to? Sorry about that. It's my dog barking in the background. And I don't edit any of these videos, by the way. So you have to think, what can you do with $1,000 more a month, $250 more per week? So think about it in those terms first, right? Now, after we think about, okay, what can I do with that $250 per week? Because money is what is money? Money's paper, but it's a means to accomplish something, right? So it's the ability, or creates the ability to create experiences. That's kind of how I view money, right? So first of all, I think, okay, how much more, like if I made $1,000 more per month, how would that change my life? What would that be different? How would that improve my life? How would that help me get to, live more of the lifestyle of what I would desire, right? After that, okay, it's $1,000 more a month. What do I have to do in order to make $1,000 trading? So now here's how I encourage you to look at it. I always look at like 100% annualized return is actually like a good basis. I mean, I do more like 150, 200% annualized return, but I would rather under promise and over deliver, right? So I want to like keep my expectations short. I always like shoot for the moon and hit the stars, right? So those are all kind of like the same ways of saying something. So how do I create $1,000 more a month? That's $12,000 a year, right? If I annualize that, you have to have an account that's got like 10 grand in it or 12 grand in it. So here's the thing. If you have $10,000, $12,000 kind of, let's say, I don't want to say lying around, but like in a savings bank. And I don't mean that saving money in a cash account and a savings account is a bad thing. No, I don't mean that at all. What I mean is sometimes it's all about like shifting what you have and shifting it where, right? So if you have $10,000 in a checking or savings account, kind of sitting there getting like, a half a cent on interest or whatever, you can perhaps consider shifting that. And if you did that, you can create yourself $250 a week on an ongoing basis. Now let's talk about consistency, right? Because here's how I look at trading. I don't like aim for a home run, right? I don't want to hit a home run. I want to hit singles. So I want to like trade and invest in things that, number one, first, that I am familiar with. So this is going to be a good video, guys. Stay until the end. I'm telling you, I haven't done a long video in a while, and this is going to be packed full of information. And I promise you, this is going to help tons and tons of people out there. So first of all, so you want to trade in what you know, what you're comfortable in. Don't trade some garbage like GameStop because it's like on Reddit and it's the hype thing or whatever. Trade something that maybe you're familiar with. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not recommending something to you, but I'm saying like, okay, where do you start? Start with like a company like, I don't know, Apple or Google, or you know what a good company is right now, I think? Intel, right? So Intel is only like 20, 21, 22 bucks a share. Intel is a great company. It's been around a super long time. There's always going to be a risk, but I don't think it's ever going to go bankrupt tomorrow, right? And you don't need a lot of money. You don't even have to use margin to trade it. Like you can, let's say as an example, let's say you trade Intel and you buy 100 shares and then you sell a call against it. You're buying 100 shares at, let's say, $22 right now. Right now it's trading at $21.88 to be precise. So, hey, I have $2,200 in an account. I can buy 100 shares and I can sell a call against it. Now, I encourage you, don't necessarily look at the dollar amount that you're making, but look at the percentage. If you just target 100% annualized, you're going to hit your number, right? So if you start an account with 10 grand and you just target like, okay, I'm going to look at trades that are annualized 100% rate of return, I'm going to create $1,000 a month for myself. I'm going to create, in other words, I'm going to create $250 a week for myself. How is that going to change my life? And it gets you like pumped up to like progress. So think of what you feel comfortable in. Next, paper trade. Start paper trading, right? You don't have to use real money at the beginning. You open a paper trade account. All the big brokerage companies, they all have paper trading. And what is that? It's like you're practicing, right? You're practicing, you're kind of getting your feet wet. And here's the thing, and I'm telling you, this is super important. When you trade options, you only lose money if you sell something for less than what you paid. I encourage you, write that on the wall. I don't ever show you guys, but I have whiteboards all over my apartment because I'm always writing stuff on the wall. If there's lots of good things that you want to kind of remember, but that's really one of them. The only time you lose money is if you sell something for less than what you paid. So what does that mean? That means, like, let's say if you're trading Intel, and again, I'm not recommending any certain stock to you, but I'm just kind of like, I'm trying to educate you, and I'm telling you what I'm doing that's working, and that's been working for oodles and oodles of years, right? If, for example, you're trading Intel and you buy 100 shares, and then you sell a call against it, sell it for Friday, very short term, this Friday, next Friday, so like 1 week, right? Because we don't know what the market's gonna do. So you wanna have short-term gratification. That's how I do it, right? Like if you have a job that you, like 9 to 5 job, you're getting paid once a week or every other week, because you got like, you want cash flow and you wanna like pay your bills and whatever. So trading is the same thing. So you wanna set up like your trades 1 week to the next week to the next week, and you're creating weekly income. So going back to my example, I buy 100 shares of Intel and I sell a call against it. Let's say Intel goes down. Am I gonna freak out and sell my shares? No. That's how all the, I don't wanna say stupid because that's not a nice word, but that's how all the uneducated people in the stock market, in the trading climate, they buy when they feel euphoric and prices are high. This is what the typical average person does. They get excited, things go higher, they buy more and more and more. They buy when they're euphoric, and then they sell when it goes down, right? And that is opposite of what you want to do. You wanna buy more. You want to be euphoric when other people are fearful. You want to be fearful when other people are euphoric. So you want to, here's the thing in general, in trading and in life, I'm telling you, this is another really good thing, write on the wall and remind yourself every day. Do what other people don't do. If you do what the majority of people do, you will get what the majority of people get, right? And here, listen, I'm not judging anybody, but I can tell you experience-wise, and tell me in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. I think for the most part, many people that I experience on a regular basis are not happy, right? I don't know, like Monday morning comes and I'm at the gym and everybody's like groaning about Monday. What are you groaning for? Why you wait until Friday? You're like wishing your life away, man. You get one spin around this place. Make it count, right? Like, I'm not wishing for Friday. Frankly, I don't even care what day of the week. I like Mondays because it's the start of the investment week, right? And I really like Fridays because my stuff is expiring. But aside from that, I don't care what day of the week it is at all. Like every day is Friday to me. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that to impress upon you that, if you want that kind of lifestyle, you can have it. Your life is whatever you make it be, I'm telling you. So getting back to Intel, you buy 100 shares of Intel, you sell a call against it for this Friday, next Friday, you take in some premium, you keep that premium no matter what happens. Remember, guys, and I have other videos on this, and if you want to dive deeper, I have courses, super inexpensive courses on Udemy. I think $85. You can find some coupons online. You can pay $15. Listen, I think I make $3, $4, $5 maximum when somebody buys a course. That doesn't change my life. If you buy my Udemy course or you don't, that does not change my life, but it could change yours, I guarantee you. So if you want to dive deeper, like do that. But just as kind of like a reminder, when you buy shares and you sell a covered call, you're committing to sell your shares if it goes higher. So you buy your shares at $22, you're going to sell your shares at $22.50 if it goes to $22.50 or higher before the expiration date, let's say this Friday or next Friday. If it doesn't go to that price, you don't sell your shares, but either way, you keep the premium that you make. If the stock goes down, don't freak out and sell your stock like all these other goofy people that buy high and sell low. No, don't do that. If you have more money, you buy more shares. That is how you make, I'm telling you, I said this in other videos, when the tide rises, all boats rise. When the market goes up, everybody kind of makes money in the market, right? But when the market goes down, that's when you can make a ton of money. If you're positioned correctly, you have to keep some money on the sidelines, right? So you want to average down your price. If you're buying good quality stock, Intel, Apple, Google, Tesla, whatever, they're big companies. They're probably not going to go out of business. If they're a good stock at $100, they're still a good stock at $90. They're still a good stock at $80. Stock is funny, like most average people, this is why most people lose money in the stock market. Like their brains aren't wired to do the right thing. So they buy a stock at $100 and that stock goes down to 90 or 80 or 70 and they start freaking out and then they sell it and then what do? They turn a paper loss into a real loss. Now you're never gonna make that money because you just recognize that loss. Not what you're supposed to do. Like what does Warren Buffett say? Like Warren Buffett's like the smartest stock trader maybe on the planet. If I like the stock at $100, I love it at 90. I love it at 80. I love it at 70. I'm gonna buy more. So that's the key, right? You gotta keep more money on the sidelines to buy more. So don't freak out. And if you never sell your shares for less than what you paid, you never take a loss. Listen, people, there are two ways to trade. You look at paper gains and paper losses. Here's what this is. For example, hey, I got a job, a 9-to-5 job, and I have a 401k, and I trade some mutual funds, or I got a Schwab account with some broker guy on the corner that trades that for me. And I started with 10 grand, and oh my gosh, last year I made $2,000 and I went from 10 to 12, right? And I made 20%. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. First of all, no, it's not, number one, because for the main fact of how much cash did you put in your pocket? How much were you able to use that, right? Can you use any of that money? Oh my gosh, I put 10 grand in and I see the number go up on a computer screen. Society ingrains in us that we should pay attention to that. Who cares if your number goes from 10 to 12 or 15 or 20 or whatever on a piece of paper or on a computer screen? You know what I care about? I care about what do I put in my pocket, because that's what sustains my lifestyle. Can I spend this money that I have on a computer screen? No. So I don't understand. This is all basic things that people just, I think you just don't know a thing until you know the thing, right? And society brainwashes us. Society brainwashes us in a lot of ways. I'm gonna give you another example. This is I have so many things when I was growing up as a child that I heard that were brainwashed into my mind. One of them was, it's too good to be true. Oh my gosh, it's too good to be true. Let me give you a little snippet of a story. So my son, Adam, who lives in LA, he's 20. He owns a solar company, right? So he's like a little hustler. He's always, ever since he was young, he was hustling, selling hoodies and candy in school and whatever. Anyway, he has a solar company, and solar is an amazing thing. If let's say, for example, I'm in the Northeast. So people in the Northeast, you go through different climates, right? You have, right now it's summer, and summertime you run air conditioning, and that takes a lot of electricity. And then when it's wintertime, you run the heat, and some people have gas heat, but some people have electric heat. So my point being is that electricity is very, very expensive. Now, most people don't know this, but when you pay for your electricity, you're paying the electric company Con Edison or CLMP or whoever, right, your electricity is in whatever region you live in. And that company is getting your electricity from solar fields mostly, if not all the time. So, but you don't realize it. So you already have solar, but you're not participating in the cool things and the good things and the cheap things of solar, right? So that's number one. Number two, if you have an electric bill and you're paying, I'll just say on average, right? Because maybe some months are higher or lower or whatever. But let's say on average, you're paying $200, right? For electricity on average. If I can show you a way that you can pay, instead of 200, you could pay 20, right? Let's just say $200 to $20 a month. And it's not gonna cost you anything. There's a lot of rebates and federal tax programs and advantages and that kind of thing. If I can show you a way that you can put some solar panels on your roof, not pay anything out of pocket, so nothing comes out of your pocket, and bring your electric bill from 200 to 20, would you be interested? Fuck yeah. Who wouldn't be interested? If you're not interested, you're crazy. So anyway, I'm talking to Adam yesterday. He's this little hustler, and he built his business by knocking on people's doors. Man, if you could build your business knocking on people's doors, you could do anything, right? So he had this appointment with these people, and sometimes he vents this stuff with me. And he's I met these people, and I think their bill was I don't even know, $500 a month or something. And they would be saving a ton of money moving to solar. And they didn't want to do it. And they didn't want to do it because they had this perception of it's too good to be true. Because he showed them on paper, okay, here's what you could do. You could do solar. It's going to be this X number of panels. It's going to cost you zero, right? Because most of the solar panels, it literally there's no out-of-pocket expense. If it costs you nothing and it moves your bill from 200 to 0, 500 to 100 or whatever, who would say no to that? But they say no. These people said no yesterday, and people say no on a regular basis. Not everybody, but I don't want to say dumb people because that's not, I don't want to be unkind. The uneducated, I want to say uneducated people say no because they think it's too good to be true. People think that trading options is too good to be true. There's a lot of risk. You have to have like a lot of years of experience. You could lose all your money, blah, blah, blah. It's too good to be true. Man, it's too good to be true is like one of those things that society ingrains in us when we're small. Maybe not you, but me for sure, to hold you down, right? Like, yeah. So it's too good to be true. That's not in my vocabulary at all. I forget where I was even going with that. So anyway, my point is this. You could have zero experience trading stock and you can still work your 9-to-5 job. You don't have to like quit your job today, but man, give trading a chance. Like take 10 hours of your time. What's 10 hours of your time? Listen, in a couple weeks, I'm going to be running this for beginners. I'm going to do lunch and learn Monday through Friday, 2 hours a day. It's 10 hours, right? And also I say 10 hours because I have like this Udemy course online. You could learn online for yourself and you could literally pay $15. Man, like the $5 I make like from you buying my course, that doesn't change my life. I guarantee you. But it could change yours. And for $15 you could learn by yourself or take my class live online. It's going to be $297, $300. I just like equate things to, you know, what is it? $300. I think the other day I went to Whole Foods. Usually I go to Whole Foods for my groceries. I think my daughter's here, so sometimes we spend a little bit more. And depending on what you buy, I think the other day I bought some lamb chops, were kind of expensive, and you know, that kind of thing. Or sometimes if I buy like those $10 candles, I think you buy a bunch of $10 things, it adds up. Anyway, my point is this. I think the last time I went grocery shopping, I think it was like $267. So I think of, okay, most people don't spend almost $300 at the grocery store, but you probably spend a good $150. So 2 grocery trips and you can pay for a class, and you could take it on your own online. And if you're good learning like that, or some people are like, you know, it's hard for me to learn by myself online. Maybe I want to ask questions, that kind of thing. $300, man. Like it can literally change your life. Anyway, this isn't a commercial about that. What I'm telling you is this. You don't need any experience in the stock market. You don't need to be good at math, and you don't need a lot of money to start. You do need a little bit of money. Somebody asked me the other day, I don't even think I answered him, can I start with $100? No, you cannot start an account with $100. Like be reasonable. Although he didn't know, so I'm not picking on him. Like, you know, squash what I just said. My point is this. How much do you need to start? I usually tell people you want to start with like $2,000. I would say on average, 5K is a comfortable place to start. And 5K, how much is that going to make you? I'm going to tell you. And there's no guarantees. And listen, again, I'm not giving you any, you know, there's always going to be risk, right? I'm not giving you specific recommendations. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just trying to help you. Do I make money on these videos? I make nothing on these videos. I love talking about this stuff, and I like to see other people successful, honestly. And also in a selfish way, I will be monetizing some of this stuff. Like I'm building these trading tools. I'm gonna charge for that, and I do charge a little bit for the classes. But yeah, I don't make much money. I make all my money from trading, right? But my point was this. If you were to start trading, start paper trading, and then let's say you start an account with $5,000, how much on average can you expect to make on an annual basis or a weekly basis or monthly basis? First, I look at it from an annual basis, then I back it into the weekly, right? So if I start with $5,000, I'm just gonna use an average 100% rate of return. It's not too good to be true for all you skeptics out there. I'm just saying that. 5K is gonna make you 5K in income per year. How much is that per week? 5K divided by 52 is what? 5K divided by 52 is about $100. It's like 96. I'm gonna round it off. So here's my point. You start an account with $5,000, you're probably gonna make about $100 extra per week. Now, what can you do with that? What can I do with $100 per week? I could buy sugarfish and Ferraris. Usually, I like to get sugarfish delivered. Sugarfish is like my sushi kind of go-to place. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes I get, you know, when you get Postmates, you pay a little bit extra, whatever. I think it's like maybe $70, right, for lunch or something. So if I get that, and then Ferraris, I get like a nice lobster tail pastry. It's not far from my apartment, but oftentimes I get it Postmated, delivered, right? And it's like, I think $15, $12, $13. I'm trying to think of like, how do I get to $100? And then every time I pick up my car at the garage and drop it off, it's a $5 tip I give the guy, so that's $10. So here's $100 a week would give me one sugarfish lunch plus Ferraris, lobster tail, plus tipping the guys twice, in and out for the garage. And that's $100. So think of things like, how much am I gonna make? How's that gonna change my life? That I would encourage you, that's how you wanna look at things. Because you want to associate it, like if I'm just looking at $100, like it's just pieces of paper, it doesn't really mean anything. What does that allow me to do? You know, or $100 a week, $400 a month, that would pay for my kid's flight to come from LA to New York, right? So I look at it in those kinds of terms. Anyway, this was kind of a long video. I really, really hope this helps. Now, tell me in the comments, do you think it's good? Are you trading now? Are you afraid to trade? What have you heard about options? Did you hear that they're like risky and that's why you haven't been doing it? How do you feel about the too good to be true thing that I said? Me, I think it's like a farce, right? It's not true. It's not true at all. Subscribe to my channel. I've been doing one video each and every day. I think this is like 5 weeks or something. I'm not even sure. But I'm committed to doing one video a day. So subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn more, I just created this new website. I always had a website which was kind of crappy, honestly, on Wix. And Wix, you know, I don't know, there's different ways you could do a website. But anyway, I canceled my Wix website and I created my own recently, coding in Python and hosting it for free, right? Like, here's another thing, like, did you know that you can have a free website? I don't know, I never knew that. I thought you had to pay somebody like Wix or I don't know, GoDaddy, or, you know, I forget what the other ones were, whatever. But no, you don't have to do that. You can use ChatGPT to help you code and do that shit for free. So anyway, my point is, go to my website, and it's not great yet. I'm still making some adjustments, but I do have this $297 class that I'm gonna run. It starts on the 25th of August. It's gonna be lunch and learn, 5 days. You're gonna get the recording also. I'm telling you, it could change your life. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be live online. And the good point about live online is, first of all, you could do it from your home. You don't have to go anywhere. And secondly, it gives you a really good opportunity for questions and answers. And I'm also gonna include some support after. That way you like, my intention is like, listen, I don't want you to take a course and pay me $300. First of all, what am I gonna do with 300? I mean, I could, you know, my point is this, 300 it doesn't really go all that far. 300 doesn't change my life, but it can most literally change your life. Yeah, especially like, man, let's say if you have 100K in an account, I'm just thinking out loud here, and you have it managed by these guys and they do some mutual funds and you're seeing the thing grow and it's great. You think you're doing good and you're making, you know, 20% per year and you think you're doing great. Man, you could learn a little bit about options and then you can invest yourself. Listen, walk before you run, so don't do it all at one time, but you can for sure turn that 100K into making like $2,000 a week for yourself on a consistent, ongoing basis. Would that change your life? I think the answer would be yes. Anyway, I hope this video helps, but hit me up in the comments and give me your thoughts. And happy trading. See ya.